with us Mr. Vikas Jain, CFO, ADAMA India. Hi Vikas, how are you
Yeah,
doing?
yeah, I'm doing good.
So Vikas is someone who has worked as an auditor in the Big Four, and from there he has, transited through the corporate role. Because we would be very interested to know how has been that transition.
Yeah, the transition is always difficult because if you are moving from an audit firm to the corporate, you need to change your mindset immediately because there you are an auditor. You are supposed to go in detail and find out many things, but here you need to, in the sense, you need to adopt immediately to the industry kind of working. So that's always a challenge thing once you, because I had been in Big Four almost for 7 years, and then suddenly you are in an industry, so you have to switch your roles quickly. So I think that's a big challenge, but I think you need to understand quickly and change your mindset quickly.
So what has been the big, that you had from Big Four, which you managed to, which has helped you in your present and current role?
Yeah, I think Big Four was a great base for me because generally what happens when you're in a Big Four, you you tend to see different kind of industries, and also you tend to see all parts of the business, in the sense you're not restricted to just doing one part of the. Suppose if you go directly into an industry, you might doing one specific role, but if you're in a Big Four, you are able to see all the parts of the industry. Let it be the HR side of it, the marketing side, the supply chain. You can see everything, and you're actually seeing the 360 degree of the business, which is a great thing. You will not get that immediate exposure when you are joining a industry directly. So I think I feel that Big Four is a good starting step that you go through and then enter into corporate world, which will expose you to all the things immediately.
So, because I mean, it's a question that I want to ask that. So how difficult has been the adjustment? Was there, anything when you joined the corporate world and you have worked in a different atmosphere before? So has there been a lot of adjustment as a professional that you had to do, or you had to retune yourself a little bit?
Yeah, so one big adjustment generally, what always happens is, as an auditor, you tend to create, you tend to find out the observations and then expect the management to give the resolutions to you, and then you go through it. But in industry, only the biggest mindset what you have is, you identify the observation, but you need to find your own solutions. So I think that is the biggest thing what we need to adjust immediately. It's not that you just question things and someone else will answer. You need to find your own answers here, and that one thing I think will take care of many things, because you just go and identify an observation, that's the half 50% of the thing in the industry, but you also need to identify a lot of solutions and a lot of decisions here to be taken, which as an auditor you were not supposed to think of it. That's the big uh, the difference, or the mindset change what I had faced initially.
So I think we can say that, from keen observation to a solution-oriented mindset, right? So it's just not an
Yeah,
observation, but again, you have to have a solution in your hand. So,
yeah,
Adama is working in crop protection across the world and such a huge name. So, and in India, obviously we are an agriculture-based economy. So what do you see that, what are the, sustainable models that you guys have implemented in India, which is really working well?
yeah. So even though we are say we call ourselves plant protection chemicals, so we are part of the chemical industry as such, because generally when you say sustainability and in agriculture you always feel organic things, but as I said, all our products are chemical, but these are necessary because India has a huge growing population, and now in case you want to feed such a growing population, you need to have these chemicals wherein you want to increase your yield and you want to increase your production in the field. So this is important. So, and India as compared to other developed countries is much lower in usage of the plant protection chemicals. Now only problem what we see is that because India, the farmers are not fully educated. Obviously we try our level best to educate them, but because they're not fully educated, they tend to overuse or underuse the products, and that's why we see that okay, chemicals are doing the side effects of the chemicals. But as I said, if you are using it, because each product comes after a lot of time or a lot of testing, almost 4 to 5 years. So so if used in a proper manner and in scientific manner, the way it is developed, then the produce also grows, and obviously you are able to cater to this population. So I think from our side, as I said, since we are chemical, so I cannot say we are organic and give some organic things, but what we try to do is we do a lot of farmers meeting, so wherein we try to educate them about the products and about the kind of usage they need to do, so that they don't tend to overuse or underuse the product. And if used properly, they'll get a good produce and finally help in getting the income, which what we are discussing is like doubling farmers income, so that at least they increase their income.
Oh, that's really good, and I think that's definitely a need of the hour for our country. I also wanted to understand that since you work with farmers across India, so there must be a lot of distributor network that you have to go through. So how do you manage that, and what are the kind of risks that you see, as a CFO that comes in there?
Yeah, so we being the MNC, still we followed a different path. Generally in MNCs, in our industry, follow the distributor kind of model, that you have say huge distributors or big super stockist kind of thing. But we started differently. We started with dealers, in the sense we did not go to the distributors, rather to dealers who in turn sell to the farmers. So we have close to 14,000 dealers in our network, and obviously the big risk is when you are dealing with 14,000 of them, it is very difficult to manage this many number of customer, to manage the supply chain, to send the products on time. There would be smaller orders, there would be a lot of issues, because most of the dealers will have a single person managing the business or his shop, and suppose if something happens to him, or so the risk of bad debts are also very high in case if it is not taken care properly. So we had gone through all these issues over the period of time, and it's almost 12 years now that we are operating in India. But I think it was a good decision that we started with dealers. Now it becomes very easy for us to launch a new product and immediately spread across the country, because when you have 14,000 of them, even if you give small quantities, it becomes a huge quantity. So obviously the risk of collections, risk of supply, everything was there. But I think slowly we have learned to manage all this.
So, I mean, you must be doing like proper due diligence of the dealers and all that, all the other risk. Do you use any risk mitigating tools, or any particular things that you have used in the future in the past, sorry, that has really helped you to mitigate the risk and understand the risk better?
Yeah, so as I said, since we are dealing with dealers who do not have proper books and records, so wherever possible, we try to ensure these dealers, and we have a team here who does the basic credit check. So first is our sales team, based on their knowledge of the market, will do their basic checks, and then we have a team here in finance who looks after, goes through their financials, what kind of standing they have, the property, what they have. So after going all through all this, then we assign a credit limit to the customer. So it's difficult, because finally you are dealing with customers who do not have proper books, do not have full numbers in their books. But we have again come out with our own kind of formulas, how we have to give to the credit limits to them.
How has been, the journey in the last, I mean, you have been in the country for the last 10 years, as you mentioned, but was there any different approach that you had to take from your regular approach in the last 7, 8 months for the pandemic?
Yeah, so as possibly everyone would answer to you, the pandemic, we were in the sense before pandemic, you were always thinking that you have to be in office and everyone has to be in office to go to complete your work. But now you see that suddenly everyone talks about that work can happen from anywhere and sitting anywhere. So I think that one thing we have learned, that it's not necessary that you have to be in office. It's only that how you manage your work from anywhere. And secondly, obviously the technology part, that you need to automate, or you need to take full advantage of the technology. India, again, being a startup hub, you can take benefits from a lot of startups who are coming in different kind of activities, and you build your own things, that it becomes easier. So I think two things which have come out very nicely is that, okay, you can work from anywhere and still the work happens. And secondly, the more the usage of the technology, that we tend to use it more. Obviously it's like a forceful thing, but good, something has come.
So has there been any significant investment or significant different kind of weightage you have given to technology in the last few months?
No, so we have been giving it importance. So nothing specific that we have drastically increased it, but we are doing few more things, like we are tying up with few startups and coming up with newer ideas, or newer kind of, say, we have developed various apps in last say last 1 year, and one or two newer things we started in pandemic time also. So obviously the amount has gone up, uh, but okay, we were doing it before itself from earlier period. Since last, it's almost, I think, last 3 years that we have started like a digital kind of journey, that we want to automate things, we want to take full use of the technology. But yes, last 1 year has been useful, that we have been pushing it further.
Adama is an MNC company, so you have been interacting with obviously CFOs of different countries. So, do you see, has there been a good amount of learning as a finance professional? So, what are those learnings that, finance professional who has been listening to your interview could, learn from, or could take it from something that which is very close to your heart, some of the learnings, if you could just tell us.
So I have one simple thing, that till the time you are interacting and till the time you are meeting your fellow professionals, you'll always learn. Because if suppose uh, if you're asking questions to different kind of CFOs who do their own things in a different manner, some or the other things will click. So one is interacting with the fellow CFOs, and secondly, in the sense, I generally get a lot of mails, you can say more of a marketing mails, but many startups who actually tend to reach out through LinkedIn or through mails. So generally you see that many of them actually have some value. Okay, I'll discuss with them initially for some time to see what value it can bring, but this interaction will bring a lot of benefits. You never know which idea actually suits your company. So I generally don't ignore these kind of things. In fact, there are few 3 4 things which we have done only just because I got mails through either LinkedIn request or through mails as a marketing mail. We are working with those startups. So I think so the interaction and the discussions will bring you a lot of ideas. You just need to then implement it.
So you mean to say that interaction, open to ideas, is something that there's always learnings, right? So I wanted
Yeah.
to understand, from being an Indian CFO, do you see the way we, our accounting, our financial planning? Do you see that there is a difference from, say, the developed world, or there's something that we need to learn from? I mean, has there been something that you have seen which is very extensively followed in other parts of the world, and do you think that that should be a great thing if we can follow in India? You have
I
implemented that? Has
I don't know
any
whether to
instance?
I don't know whether to say it as a good thing or a bad thing, but we Indians tend to work very hard. Now, whether you work smart or not is a different thing, but we work very hard, and you tend to work a lot in Excel. You tend to do a lot of manual things, and since you are doing this since long in your previous organizations, you feel these are the norms. But I think that's a big difference between India and other countries, that they use full use of the technology, and
Yes.
they don't tend to do so much of manual work, the kind of work we do. A simple example could be that suppose approving a purchase order in many of my other corresponding countries, you will see that they'll have only 1 or 2% approving it. But in India, in our company, there will be 4 levels of hierarchies who are approving one POs, because it has to go through and some manager, then kind of things. We try to put too many controls, and then we try to work very hard to possibly achieve the same thing which others in other countries might be doing lesser efforts. So yes, there we have to learn more. You have to see where you need to review it properly, or you need to control to a limited extent. But you cannot be. We tend to have that thing that we try to want to control everything. So you want to be everywhere in all the places. So I think that little thing we need to improve.
So another quick question, Vikas. I mean, you are a young CFO, and as you said, working very hard. How do you rewind yourself? What are the other things that you like doing?
Sports is my passion right from beginning. So sports is there. I earlier it used to be, in the sense, till 2 3 years back it was cricket. I was playing since last 10 15 years.
Oh,
Since
okay.
last 3 years, in the sense from school days, I've never stopped playing, and since last 2 3 years I'm playing badminton. So I cannot live without sports, so I continue with my sports. And okay, it's again a hype thing that okay, I've started yoga. So but actually I've started yoga, and I am really liking it. And I like listening to music, and I like dancing, and
Oh, okay. So there's a lot of colorful qualities of Vikas beyond the CFO,
I,
and my
that's a Indian quality, right? Okay, other than sports, possibly many don't follow or work out, but singing and dancing is an Indian quality which possibly everyone will have. Not new.
not really actually. Uh, uh, my last question was, for young CFOs. I mean, young not CFOs, young financial professionals. What would be your or aspiring to become, where you have reached? What would be the three qualities that you would say that they need to look at to get there where you have reached?
I think first thing which generally I feel which always help is the initiative part, because obviously you work in any organization, there'll be say 10 20 50 people who will be your colleagues. So in case you want to differentiate yourself is to your initiation, because there's always some or the other opportunity which comes, and if you are taking initiative and doing that work, obviously then you'll move faster, because then you'll be recognized. So I think one thing I feel is the topmost, which I feel, because even I see, suppose my team members, you see that someone is taking a lot of initiative, then you tend to give him much better work, and much
Larger.
the promotions also comes to him faster. The second thing what I see is to see the broader level. Many times you happen that you are so busy in your work, you do not see the broader work, that okay, how you can improve. uh, for example, suppose you are doing one specific thing since last many years, you tend to forget that there could be different ways of doing this work, or you making it more simpler. So always you have to have some time to sit back and see that whatever you are doing can be done in a better way or not. So generally I keep, so okay, pandemic there's a problem, but before that I used to keep one session every 15 days. So where I will sit with all my team members, you will take up any area, and then we'll say, okay, this thing we are doing, how we can improve it or how it can be done in different manner. Now so many ideas will come because you're sitting there, you forget about your normal day-to-day routine, and now you're just thinking about your ideas. There would be 10 ideas, actually there will be one or two which will actually work, but you need to sit and think out of your normal working time or day-to-day work, and the ideas will come. So I think these two generally I feel are the important things which I see will help the young team members, which they help them to get much better work and help them in faster growth in their career.
So you mean initiative and ideate. These are the two things, idea to implementation and taking initiatives. Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Vikas, for taking the time and talking to us. Good day and good luck to you. And thanks once again.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot.